Start of June marked the end of an era in Massachusetts as the last coal-burning power plant in the state closed for good. It's a big victory for environmentalists who have targeted Brayton Point for years. But in Somerset, where the plant operated for half a century, the picture looks significantly bleaker. Adam Riley has more.
When Brayton Point was in its heyday, 400 employees worked around the clock, moving coal from cargo ships to the plant's interior and turning it into power in a setting that verged on the infernal.
You know, it's 140 degrees over there. It's literally so hot that the handrails are actually hot to the touch. Incredibly loud. You're turning these valves, it tears your shoulders up.
But Bob Clark, the president of the union that represented Brayton Point's employees, says that brutal environment had its benefits.
They own big sailboats, motorboats. They have homes that they're going to retire, had been planning to retire to in Florida.
But plans are changing. At midnight on May 31st, the 1,500-megawatt plant stopped producing energy, and now it's being detached from the New England power grid. Some workers are still on site. Others have left Brayton Point for good and are seeking comparable jobs. They won't be easy to find.
Here they're making almost 40 an hour, some of these jobs 18, 17. It's better than starving, homeless, and penniless under a bridge, but when you're used to making $40 an hour with a lot of overtime, holiday pay, things like that are built into your union contract, it's a big hit.
And the plant's closure isn't just taking a toll on those ex-employees.
At its peak, we got about $13 or $14 million. Brayton Point was probably paying about 30% of our general fund expenses.
Today, Brown says that tax revenue has dropped to just over $4 million, and the plant's shutdown will cut it even more. If the site is redeveloped, that money could come back, but the town isn't calling the shots.
The Brayton Point site is a gorgeous piece of property. It's 300 acres, it's waterfront, it's available for port use, but the reuse potentials are enormous. But the main limiting factor is we don't own the property.
Instead, it's owned by the Houston-based energy company Dynegy, which says a number of parties have expressed interest in the site. In the meantime, Somerset is seeking a new economic engine.
We'd have to build 50 Home Depots in order to replace that tax revenue.
But Selectman Holly McNamara has a more ambitious idea: make Somerset an incubator for inventor Elon Musk's new Hyperloop technology. It might not be as far-fetched as it sounds.
My teammate and I applied for the Hyperloop One Global Challenge last summer. We were chosen out of 2,600 teams to be one of 35 global semifinalists. That technology is, in my opinion, going to be the new wave.
Still, there's one idea no one seems to be taking seriously: that the old Brayton Point might make a comeback.
Coal's dead. Coal is not coming back. Unfortunately, I think President Trump is selling a hope that's not going to happen.
Adam Riley joins me. I'm not totally hi, by the way.
Hey, Jim.
I'm not. Why is it closing?
It seems like there's a pretty broad consensus that, on the one hand, new regulations have made it tougher for coal to compete with other forms of energy, but at the same time that the boom in frack gas, which is very plentiful, very, very cheap, even if you didn't have those new regulations, it'd be really, really tough for coal to keep it going.
I have to say that I'm obsessed with the Hyperloop, by the way. Long before the story, I am totally into the thing. Yeah. But I don't mean this disrespectfully to their dreams there. That's probably not immediately around the corner. Are there any other let's call them more realistic hopes about filling the hole there?
Pat Haddad, the state rep from that area, has this vision of making it a clean energy hub. So this would be a place in which various offshore wind farm companies brought their lines onto land. And in addition, Haddad envisions manufacturers popping up that actually build the equipment for those offshore wind farms. So that's sort of a cool idea.
How about the transitioning of these $40 an hour people you described a minute ago? I mean, is anything happening other than prayer? I mean, what are they doing?
Getting a bunch of assistance both from Dynegy, which people speak really highly of when it comes to what they're doing for these guys, also from the state, things like learning how to hone their resumes, getting financial counseling, new job training, so it'll be easier for them to find new work. The workers there are trying to get other benefits that come if you can show your jobs were lost due to NAFTA. The argument there would be that, at least indirectly, the influx of hydropower from Quebec helped put Brayton Point out of business. They have not yet succeeded in getting that.
Adam, thanks so much. Good to see you.